I'd like to start off by saying hello to everybody. Let's start with introductions. So my name is Chan Han Kim. I was a former student at Smart Kids International School back in Siem Reap, and currently I am a year one major studying in marketing.
So, hi everyone. My name is Yana Julie, and I assume that some of you already knows me. I am a former student of NGS High School too, and I also one of the grade A students. Yes, and right now I am currently in year one, majoring in international business, and yeah, that's it.
Hello. Good morning, everyone. My name is Kabir Ryan Khan, or as you guys could just call me Ryan, and I was from Life International School in Singapore, and I'm currently a year one student majoring in business management.
Okay, so that's a very big question, right? How we feel when we first transition from high school to university life, that transition. Sometimes, at times, it can feel very daunting, a bit scary because you don't know what the future holds for you, right? After high school, when I was in high school, I didn't really think about this much. So as soon as I finished high school, as soon as we finished our Bac exams, it felt like a whole new world just opened up to us. There's so much to do, so much to think about. So like I said, at times it can feel a little daunting, but like we all do, we get over it eventually. And I feel like the process of getting over that feeling is a sort of like it's where you can see growth from. It's where we grow as people, and that was basically my experience. Julie, you have something to add on to that?
So I think when I first transferred to a university, it is a very big journey for all of us. Like from stepping out of the high school and move to university, it's so difficult and so it's a bit scary. But trust me, it's gonna be okay. And to be honest, I was not a very talkative person like this. So when I first came to school, I was very quiet. But actually, everyone in EAMU, they are so welcoming and also involving us in everything, every activities. So I start stepping out of my comfort zone and doing things that I never done to before. So yes, that is a fun experience, also challenging, but it's fun. Yes. What about you, Ryan?
So I'd say that when I first transitioned to university, it was very nerve-wracking. Of course, you get these nerves that hey, how is university going to be different from high school, right? And how am I going to fit in, or how am I going to talk to people? But EAMU made it so it was very easy to transition. The seniors here and the community here are very nice. Everyone was very welcoming and inviting, and they made sure that despite me being almost like a baby bird, that my wings could grow well with EAMU. And I really appreciated that. And I will say that you might have to get used to the different workloads and stuff, and we'll talk about that later. But I'm sure that most of you will transition well, especially if you sign up or come to the school, like Julie, who's a previous student of your school, can help introduce you or make sure that your time here is great.
Personally, the biggest thing that I found from high school and university is that university is really adamant on teaching their students on the skill or concept of self-learning. Right? I feel like self-learning is a very important skill to have. And I know from Julie here that in your school, your high school teaches this concept very well, where you're required to do a lot of research or a lot of stuff on your own, right? And you have to do your presentations with your slides or however you do that. But in university, when you get taught in class, you're not as handheld as you are in high school. In high school, from my experience, in my high school, it's very easy because your teacher tells you to do this and that, and those are your instructions. But in university, a lot of the times, your lecturer gives you a topic, and you're required to do a lot of research, like Ryan just mentioned about our fundamentals of management assignment, where we have to go actually gather data on our assignment, which is basically interviewing business. And that was the by far the biggest thing, and it was an absolute shock to me because it was so different from high school when it comes to university.
So for me, beside a academic side of like university and high school, I think more like new to me is about the environment and the people, the students. As you know that we already like in a high school, so like you meet like the same people every time, like every years, you just know them for years and like for months. But in university, you just come into a new environment, a new place with a new like system, and then you meet like new people with like different backgrounds. They have different personality, attitudes, and like somehow at first it was hard for me to like actually adopt in this environment. But EMU actually made it so easy because I feel so welcome here, and our senior is so helpful toward us, and the staff just help us with any like problem that we have. So EMU is so helpful for me to adopt in this environment. What about you, Ryan?
So to kind of touch up on what Kip said about independent learning, right? It's also about your self-discipline. I'm sure most of you have heard before to work smarter, not harder, right? Well, it's not just about working smart. You also have to work hard as well. And it's more so in like you have to really be mindful of your time. Great time management is great in university life. The way you structure your assignments, the way you structure when to do what's most important, and how you prioritize that. Because in high school, you have like your teachers reminding you, hey, we have this homework due, we have this quiz, we have this test. But in university, you kind of have to schedule that yourself. What works for you and how do you balance your personal life and your academic life? Because if you don't balance it well, you'll be burnt out, and then you'll also jeopardize your assignments as well. So great time management and self-discipline to work on yourself and your assignments without your teachers hand-holding you is a very key distinction between high school and university, in my opinion.
The reason I chose EAMU, there are actually three main things that I had to consider, and I'm sure that you all could relate to this as well. First, your parents, right? You not only have to balance exactly what you want, but you also sort of have to take in your parents' expertise into consideration. And sometimes, for some of us, we even talk to our friends or our teachers. Second, for me, was the majors. So I looked into EMU and I found out that they have exactly what I wanted. A lot of business schools in Phnom Penh doesn't teach marketing, which is the major that I wanted to study. So when I looked into EMU, they have a good background. The school looks really nice, and they taught the major I wanted. I thought this school just might be the right one for me. And third, which I think is the biggest factor for me, is the scholarship opportunity. When I enrolled into EMU, I enrolled with a 75% scholarship, like some of my classmates do as well. And when you're here in EMU, you have the opportunity to attain a lot of these scholarships. I believe from 50% to 100%, and that's a big factor, right? Especially when you want to get into when you want to get your parents to agree that this is the school for you, right? So that was my experience.
So for me, why I chose EMU, I think EMU is a great school with a good quality. Like when I first introduced to EMU, when like Bong Hu and Bong Nari was like at our school and introduced EMU to us, and that was the first time that I know EMU. So I started like thinking, oh, I kind of want to study business management. Okay, like EMU is such a great school because I always like go through many university before, but their program is not really like attracting and not really interesting like EMU. So I think one of the reasons that I choose EMU also like a program. They also have a honor degree, and the staff here. Let's say about the staff. They are so welcoming, and even the seniors here, you would just come to the school and you feel so welcoming and you feel like you belong here. So that's why I choose EMU, right?
So at first, I was actually quite unsure of what I wanted to do for university. And since I said I'm from Life International School, which is in Sinnoville, right? Which is not a PP. So at first I was looking for university in Senegal and I was unsure, like, hey, what am I going to do? And luckily I had a friend who is a senior who studies there. He goes by the name Jonathan. He kind of lured me in with the opportunities that EAMU provided, and they provided actually a lot of great scholarship opportunities, which I use to talk to my parents, and I'm sure that if you do that, you can also do the same thing. And when I did come here, the staff were very friendly and inviting, and they made sure to really explain all the process as well for signing up for a scholarship and to make sure that you can get acclimated well. And another thing that helped me was an open house, which is sort of similar to what you guys are doing now, but it's more so in that the school shows off their benefits and they show off what the school is about. And that kind of influenced me to why I chose EAMU.
Okay, so on this particular topic, currently in EMU we have a lot of clubs that offer a lot of different things. You have the public speaking club, the social club, music club, just to name a few, and we're about to get to that. So in EMU, I chose to pursue the public speaking club. Believe it or not, back when I was in high school, I was a very introverted person. I didn't know how to speak to people, and I just had a lot of problems talking to people in general. But through the public speaking club, we host debates and presentations where they teach you all the mannerisms and how you're supposed to speak up in stage. And because of that, that's how I'm here, speaking to you all today, because I found growth from the club, and yeah, that's really about it on my part.
So there are so many clubs in our university, so I joined a social club. So social club is about how you organize like an event, like celebrating students' birthday, teachers' day, Mother's Day, or like celebrating like Christmas, Chinese New Year, Khmer New Year's, and we have like a very toward that skill, organizing events. And I think I'm the type of person who like to do things and organizing stuff. So this club is actually very good for me to join. What about you, Ryan?
So, as I mentioned before, the social club and public speaking club, I'm also in a public speaking club, but I would just like to talk and touch on the sports club. As you know, we are currently finishing up our sports month event, which you guys saw in the presentation where a bunch of people compete together. And I'm in the sports club because, well, first of all, I enjoy sports. And second of all, I just feel like it's a great way to get to know your fellow seniors and your fellow university people that study here. And I feel like it's a great way for everyone to bond, and that's the reason why I chose sports club, and I think it's really good to get into as well.
So for me, one personal advice for you all is that prepare for the changes. There are so many changes after like high school. You're gonna change yourself, the way that you study, the way that you communicate, the way that you talk, like everything. But it is how you actually grow from like being a kid, a teenage to adult, walking into a new journey, open a new door, and walk toward your dreams. So prepare for all the changes that you're gonna face. Yeah. For me, my experiences in grade 12 is not really like as study hard as others people. They would just study until like 1 or 2 at night, but I just sleep at 10 o'clock. I go to sleep at 10 o'clock every damn night. And like in the morning, I just woke up and like just go to school like others. And mostly I would just do my own work, like self-study and getting some help from my friends. And for like, I think you guys have about like 100 days before Bandung, right? So I think that time I just doing exercises that I was supposed to prepare for Bandung, and then I also like try to memorize the question that we need to do, and also like drop out everything that like it's unnecessary for me at for Bandung. So I think it is so hard to prepare for it, and in grade 12 you guys must have really like so stressed out about it. And don't worry guys, any result is not going to define you here. As I am here, A is nothing at all right now. So yes, it's okay, don't pressure yourself too much.
Okay, so the reason I chose marketing as my major is because ever since high school, when I was in 10th grade, I actually tried, that sort of work because I have parents that work in the tourism industry. And, when it comes to tourism, exposure is very important, right? So I tried my hand in marketing. Basically, I was trying, gathering data. I was doing social media, trying to gain exposure for, to help out my parents. And it turns out that that's sort of something that I'm good at. So, when you're good at something, it has commercial value, right? One thing that one of our professors told us, and a sort of advice. His name is we call him Uncle Roland. He told us that like if you don't really know what to do as a job, do what you love to do, because when you love it, that means you're good at it. And when you're good at it, that means it has commercial value. Don't really worry about how much money it makes, just do what you love, because as long as you love your job and you're good at it, money comes along with it, right? So I started, I grew to love marketing as a job. And so when I stepped into EAMU, or when I stepped into my university life, I wanted to pick a major that reflects my love for the job. And that's why I picked marketing as my major.